Y'all, what is he doing?
You don't seriously think I'm going to answer that question? Will you strike the Iranian nuclear component? And what time exactly, sir? Sir, would you strike it? Would you please inform us so we can be there and watch? I mean, you don't know that I'm going to even do it. You don't know. I may do it. I may not do it. I mean, nobody knows what I'm going to do. I can tell you this, that Iran's got a lot of trouble, and they want to negotiate. And I said, why didn't you negotiate with me before? All this death and destruction. Why didn't you negotiate? I said to the people, why didn't you negotiate with me 2 weeks ago? You could have done fine.
He's like, nobody knows what I'm doing. Nobody knows, not even me. Yes, that's why they're asking the fucking question. It is a national security risk to have this dementia Donald Trump. You thought Biden was bad? At least he had a competent staff. This guy's like, I don't even know what to do. I don't even know what I'm gonna do. And that should set off alarm bells in everyone, regardless of party affiliation. Imagine if Biden had said that. Look, Jack, I don't know what I'm gonna do. That does not instill confidence in the American people that we're going to be okay. Secondly, getting sassy and getting angry at a reporter for asking the basic question. Yeah, that's why they asked. Because they're like, what are you gonna do? It's like he relishes in this uncertainty. And y'all, the comments on this video, he is a nut job. Scary. Give him 10 minutes. He'll blab his big flippin' mouth and tell everyone in a tweet. And we're gonna review his Truth Social posts in a minute. They do not offer any clarification. Pretty sure he has no idea what he's gonna do. People's lives are on the line. And this is my favorite. That's the problem. Being unpredictable is not a virtue. He keeps looking sadder and weaker. Despite being a total moron, he's right that he shouldn't reveal strike plans publicly, only in his Signal group chat. Not even Trump knows what he's gonna do. He's decomposing. You don't think I'm gonna answer that? Well, you're right. I have no clue what I'm gonna do, so haha, checkmate, bitch. In my view, this is what a psychopath looks like. And let's just review some of what's happened over the last 24 to 48 hours. He starts off by saying, look, I'm not looking for a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. If I'm going to do a fire, it's going to be blazing hot. Or if it's a fire, let me tell you, it's going to be you're fired. You're fired. Out of a cannon. He literally went through and denounced his Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, after she said in a hearing under oath, yeah, doesn't look like Iran has any nukes or plans to do them with their enriched uranium. And instead of actually listening to his own intelligence director, he's literally just making stuff up to blow shit up and destabilize another region and leading to Iraq 2.0. So he's not looking for a ceasefire, but he's looking for better than a ceasefire, whatever that means. What is better than a ceasefire in peace? And then he immediately turns around and is like, look, I want to blow it all up. And his Truth Social posts do not lend any more clarification to this. Iran should have signed the deal that I told them to sign. You mean the one that you tore to shreds, chewed up, and spit out on a Thursday afternoon? There was a deal, and you pulled out of it. Then he says, America first means that many great things, including the fact that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. Look, for context, we have a nuclear weapon. North Korea has nuclear weapons. Israel has nuclear weapons. We know that Iran is not developing a nuclear weapon. I'll get to that further in the video. But yet, why can't they? We have them. You see what kind of a crap show we are? We are the ones that have used the nuclear weapons. We dropped bombs on Japan. If anything, I'm from the United States, obviously, we're the ones that can't be trusted because we've used them. And look, to their credit, a contingent of the right wing is this is my country, that's not my country, so I'm not going to do Israel's bidding by fighting a war for them. Which, yeah, I agree. We don't need another Iraq 2.0. We don't need Iran revised, the next Iraq. No, we don't. But now he's even blowing up at the French Prime Minister for the stupidest things. Publicity-seeking President Emmanuel Macron of France mistakenly said that I left the G7 summit in Canada to go back to DC. The real reason I left is because they didn't have buffalo chicken wraps and I was not going to stand for it. He told everyone that I went back to DC to work on a ceasefire between Israel and Iran. Wrong. Wrong again, macaroon boy. Wrong again. He has no idea why I am on my way to Washington, but it certainly has nothing to do with a ceasefire. In fact, it actually has a lot to do with something better. So if you are going for something that is even better than a ceasefire, then what is that? I have now reached out to Iran for peace talks. If anything, I would actually reach out to Iran for, a piece of chocolate or a piece of cake or a piece of the pie. I've now reached out to them for any peace talks in any way, shape, or form. That's fabricated fake news. So, what's going on? Are we going to war? Are we not going to war? Should we be worried? Let me break down some details. So this is Tulsi Gabbard. She is the Director of National Intelligence, former Democratic Congresswoman from Hawaii, I believe, who then actually endorsed Trump and then was awarded with the cabinet position of Director of National Intelligence. She's also a veteran. Look, I'm not the biggest fan of hers, but I give credit where credit is due. Back in March, she testified under oath talking about the situation with Iran and whether or not they were developing any nuclear arsenal weapons. And she said they're doing some enriched uranium, but there's no evidence to show that they're planning on using that for nuclear weapons. And as I said earlier on my live show, which happens most every morning, look, I can be sharpening a knife, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to hurt someone with it. It also could mean that I'm going to make a meal. So just because you have enriched uranium doesn't necessarily mean that you are doing that. It could mean, but it doesn't absolutely mean it. And we want to act upon certainty if we're going to take drastic actions such as unaliving and destabilizing a region for the purpose of protecting our country. Instead, we might just jeopardize a whole bunch of people and unalive innocent people for the purpose of something that was a miscommunication. And that's putting it genteelly. She testifies to a lot of senators in Washington under oath that, hey, there's no evidence showing that they're actually developing any of these nukes. And the specifics is that this was from the Annual Threat Assessment, the ATA, which in the words of one Republican MAGA Senator, Tom Cotton, is for the American people to receive unvarnished and unbiased account of the real and present dangers that face our nation. Too bad he doesn't pay attention to it, because Tom Cotton has recently gotten some flack. But before I show that, on March 25th, Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard delivered the conclusions, which basically said the IC continues to assess that Iran is not building a nuclear weapon. But yet, Senator Tom Cotton, along with other Republican senators like Mike Rounds of South Dakota and Todd Young of Indiana, are going and basically just making up accusations, fear-mongering, racistly fear-mongering about Iran. So much so that even readers had to add context to this post on X. And adding context, you also see that Tom Cotton has taken $1.1 million from AIPAC, literally doing Israel's bidding for them. Meanwhile, his own state suffers, by the way. But going further, you have a whole bunch of Republican senators also just jumping in, being like, yeah, we need to fight Israel's war for them. Which, no, we don't. But also, war is not the answer. But lastly, Donald Trump is pissed with Tulsi Gabbard over all of this. Trump is like, I don't care what she said. I think they were very close to having one. Says the guy who says he doesn't know what to do.